Hey guys, welcome into another episode of Yoders Talk. As always, Clinton Yoder, Cory McClendon here. Man, we're fired up for episode 2 of season 3. We got some awesome guests on, some of our competition in our business. They're going to be coming on. And so, stick with this episode. I think you'll enjoy the conversations we have between competitors and the way we view each other and things of that nature. So we are excited to get this episode started. What you think, Cory?
Yeah, I think this episode was really unique. It gives us the opportunity to kind of open up about having relationships with our competitors and kind of understand that having a positive relationship with our competitors can oftentimes be a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So stick with us, guys. Welcome in to season 3, episode 2 of Yoders Talk.
That's a perspective thing that we need to keep in mind when we do have hard times in business, because we all know it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost as close a thing of a guaranteed as you can have.
Your instinct is to freak out when competition moves in. It's the natural instinct. 'Cause you're like, oh, here we go,
It seemed like a secret to other people. And it's like, hey, I need help here.
Mm-hmm.
And then he shows me up in golf, hitting golf balls and all this. But
Whenever you're ready.
I just go for the fun of it.
Hey guys, welcome back into another episode of Yoders Talk. As always, your host here, Clinton Yoder. So excited to be back with y'all this morning. We have a great episode coming on, and we got some great guests coming on. You ready for this, Cory?
I am. I'm really excited to have some friends here. I've got Will and Slim from H&S Portable Buildings on today, and just excited to hear from you guys. So, guys, welcome on the podcast.
So, Will, we have, I guess Will and Slim, but I'll start with you, Will. We've been friends for, what year did you move down in this area?
It was right after Christmas of 2008.
2008. So it's been 14.
So just call it 2009.
16 years, 17. Yeah. Wow.
Don't seem like that long.
It does not. It's been a long time. Slim, you came in the area back
May of 2008.
2008. So it's around the same time. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we've been good friends with both of y'all for seems like a long time. And as far as talking about being in, competitors in these businesses and everything, H&S Portable Buildings, Yoders Woodworks, I think both companies have built a great reputation in the industry. And so, today it's going to be exciting to kind of just touch on what, from my perspective, from y'all's perspective on, what it is to have a healthy relationship between competitors and the value that comes with that, not only in the industry itself, but in each individual business, and not only that, but in the where we're able to continue to grow, be better. Good competition leads to being better. Being innovative. Changing the way you do things and things of that nature. So this episode we're going to really dive into that. So I'm going to turn it over to Cory and let him kind of lead this thing.
Yeah, so on this episode, I kind of want to give the audience just a brief, if you can, just tell them a little bit about H&S, how y'all got y'all start, kind of what y'all do. If y'all can share just for a moment on that, either one of you, whoever wants to jump in.
Sure. So H&S started kind of, I guess, can we say by accident maybe? It was 2000, it would have been 2010, I think. Me and Slim, we weren't brother-in-laws at the time, but we were both working for my in-laws, ironically enough. And things got slow, things got tight, and we were just trying to put food on the table. And Slim came to me one day and said, hey, if this don't work, why don't we kind of start building our own buildings on the side? And so, I kind of, yeah, sure, I'll help out. And we both kind of decided, yeah, we'll build about, 5 or 10 buildings, see how it goes, and just we started in Slim's backyard. I built and he hauled them, and man, those were some long days. There's a lot of times I wouldn't even see him at all during the day because he'd leave before I got to work, and then I'd work till 9, 10 o'clock, and he was just coming in. So it was tough to start out.
Did you ever think it would get to where it is, like in that moment?
Nope.
Not even. It's crazy how that works.
So my idea for sure was let's do something to put food on the table, and if it works, if it grows, fine. If not, we're surviving at the time.
Mm-hmm.
That was my main thing was surviving, and those were tough years.
Coming out of 08, 09,
yeah,
10, yeah,
and then I've got pictures in my office. Well, they're in a box, but one day I want to put them in the hallway of the office, and there's pictures of half-finished buildings out there in that 2010, I think 6 inches of snow or something, snow everywhere, and we don't have a concrete pad to build them on, nothing. It's gravel.
No roof.
No roof.
Nice.
We had a little 24 by 24 building in the back, but it was too low to put buildings in. We put some of our lumber in there and our little table saw. We found a table saw yesterday while cleaning up, and might get a little off the track here, but the table saw, I told Caleb, one of our guys, I said, we have to keep it. We have to keep it. One day it'll just be a table, and we'll use it for a table somewhere.
Yeah,
that's cool though. But that brings back it kind of brings everything back to, you kind of forget sometimes with how busy we've all became with where we've started from, and little things like that just kind of bring it back to reality and understand, how grateful we need to actually be, how God has truly blessed us and our businesses from back here to what it is today. I mean, if you don't mind sharing, y'all build what, 2,000 a year probably at times?
Yeah, it's gone downhill the last couple of years because sales have dropped off. But yeah, I'd say we're average about 2,200.
2,200 a year. So that's remarkable building. What'd you build your first year?
What was it, 40?
I think it was around 40.
That's crazy.
I remember when we got to 500, we're like, this is big.
Yeah.
We will never. I didn't think we'd get past it.
Just doing business right. I mean, that really is what it is. I mean, if we're honest about it, is, if you don't do it right, you don't become what you are today. And I know that there's bumps along the way. I mean, but that's what makes y'all, makes a business better, is when, you have them hiccups and you work through them. And I've always said, you can't go from, 1 to 2,000 overnight, because you probably wouldn't have the ability to handle it mentally.
You cannot handle that growing pains.
That much, yes.
Yeah, it's too much, and that's one thing I would, for other people, I would advise people to grow as they can, not try. And I've seen that with Yoders, not jumping in too big at one time, because you can't get the right people in to run it that quick.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen companies go backwards because of going in too fast.
A lot of times when you start a business, you start it like y'all did because you needed to, and you had the ability, the skill level to do the actual work. But what comes later in owning a business is not, you start not needing necessarily the skill of building a building or hauling a building. Then it falls over to, how is my leadership? How can I lead others to do that job? And I think a lot of times that's when we kind of hit a roadblock, is we reach the max of our abilities mentally, physically, and where we have to start bringing other people. All of a sudden, you got all these people that are looking to you to figure out how to do this, and you're like, I don't even know myself, especially in the early days as you're growing. So that's how it was for me anyway. But
I think it's really, really awesome. One thing to kind of talk about, you said, started right around that 2009, area when the economy was just terrible. Like I can remember it, my parents struggled during that time, and a lot of people did. But I think it's really unique that we talk about there was such an economy, crisis, and you guys were kind of birthed out of that. And I think so many times we think about bad situations, but in the moment, it's really hard to see, the good things that come out of those hard moments. Mm-hmm. But now looking 14, 15 years, back, now it looks like something that's really great, and it's flourishing. So I really think that's a perspective thing that we need to keep in mind when we do have hard times in business, because we all know it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Right. That's almost as close a thing of a guaranteed as you can have. But keep that perspective that something might be birthed out of this hard time that may later down on the future be something that's really great.
And to everybody out there listening, the truth is a lot of good, successful companies are birthed in slow times, because the truth is if you're birthed in the when economy's booming, you can grow big, but you have no idea how to handle it when it gets tough.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You have no clue. And there was a lot of these, our competition, I guess you could say, over the COVID years. We won't mention names or anything like that, but they used COVID as a time to I guess reset their new normal, which we all know was a false normal.
Right.
And today they're paying the price. And that's across the whole United States. That's not, I said our competition. I'm more meaning throughout the United States. There's a lot in our industry that are hurting bad today because they thought that was the new norm. They came into the industry right over that time, and all of a sudden now, what do we do? This is not this is the new normal. What we're facing today is more what it was before COVID. I guess would y'all agree?
I would say it's pretty close. Yeah,
back to them same numbers, and so I think we have to be very careful as we start a business to make sure that we understand the industry we're going into and know that this isn't normal, or this is a slow time, so it's going to get better. Just understanding the industry you're going into and understanding the ups and downs of it, and see where you are when you come into that industry, when you start your business in that industry. Are we in an upswing? Are we in a downswing in that particular industry, so that we can prepare ourselves for the future?
And it was especially hard for people with the lumber shortage, and you couldn't get materials for your finished product, and then people went and just bought a lot of it when they could buy it, when it opened back up. And I think I've seen it with us, is I have to be careful not to overbuy, because I was like, what if next year something happens? Mm-hmm. I want to be ready. If it does, it does.
I mean, OSB was, back in COVID years, OSB was what, close to 40 a sheet?
It was over 40.
Over 40.
Mm-hmm. In 50s at
yeah, and today I've seen in the last couple of weeks, I've seen somebody just under 10, 1050. I don't know. It probably varies kind of in that range a little right now. So, if you stocked up, of course we're a couple years past COVID, but if you stocked up at that 40,
oh yeah,
you were.
What if you stocked up at 10 and sold it for 40?
Well, that's what you need to be looking for here. Right?
It'd be like winning the lottery.
Yes, it is. Yeah. I told somebody, I said, if that stuff hits 7 again, we're fixing to stock up. But then there's, you don't really know.
Well, and I've heard people say, yeah, but what if it drops down to 5? We lose $2 a sheet. Mm-hmm. So be it.
Right.
I'd rather lose $2 a sheet than than not buy it, and then basically lose $20 a sheet when it goes to 30.
Yeah. Yeah. It was tough over them COVID years, man. Like, you know, and I don't know if we really shared the industry we're talking about. The storage barn industry is what we're having the conversation about. I guess you could say, for people that can grasp it, you could say tiny homes. That kind of puts a perspective of what we're talking about here. Portable buildings, you know, they're delivered down the road and things like that. So, but over them COVID years, you know, lumber went up so fast, you could not get your prices to about catch it. And that was for me, that taught me so much to, you know, if we ever face that again, I think a lot of us are going to be prepared for it. And a lot more prepared than I was in our industry, or in our business. I don't know about y'all, but for us, man, it felt like we could not catch up, and people were buying so fast that our pricing kept just rising. It was like a spinning cycle.
And at that time, we were so far behind that by the time we got the product to the customer, we were losing money on it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's exactly what I'm referring to. Yes.
And you just couldn't get into gears fast enough.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was a good time, but it was a lot of learning curves in the busy times of COVID. So,
and I think talking now a little bit, because I'm at Yoder Metal. You guys both actually buy from Yoder Metal, so I don't really see y'all as competition. I've always seen you guys as friends, and y'all buy metal from us, and we try to take care of you guys. But I know from y'all's aspect, there's probably, you know, times in the early days where maybe there was possibly some conflict, or hey, there's, you know, because let's just be straight, we're all competitive people. I've known all of us, we all like to win. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, even though we're all friends, you know, it's hard to keep that mindset. So maybe y'all can all three kind of talk about some of the early day challenges of having a healthy relationship between y'all's two companies, and kind of some of the struggles that y'all faced.
You know, and that's a good question. I guess for me, I really never, and I think it's because of our relationship outside of work. Mm-hmm. We were friends. It never really, to me, was viewed as a competition. I know even in the early days, honestly, in the early days, I think we both could say, and I'll let y'all speak on this, it was more about us being a cheerleader for the other one. I don't know if that made sense. Like, for me, I loved seeing H&S succeed, because the truth is, if we both do it well, which I feel like we both have, if we both do it well, there's enough out there for both of us. Right. Now, have we competed directly against each other? Absolutely. There's no question about it. I mean, I'm going to try to outsell a building just like, I mean, how far apart are we? 5 miles?
Maybe
barely
5.
that.
Yeah.
Barely that. I mean, we compete against each other. There's no question about it. But I don't think there's ever was really a thing that animosity between us. Y'all can speak on that a little.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, but like you said, we kind of had I know me and you, we've hunted together a lot, mm-hmm. all the time, all the years, and outside of work, we've always, you know, been friends. So there was never any animosity. You know, if we got a customer and didn't have what they wanted, and we knew y'all had it, we had no problem sending them down the road, say, hey, go talk to Yoders. And I feel like
same way
it's been kind of reciprocated.
There's been times when a customer would show up at our place and say they've been to Yoders, then they'd turn around and go back to Yoders because Yoders they did something they might have had similar buildings or whatever, but their sales guy is what done it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
where we lost a sale because of, and that's our problem. We should have done better.
But now because of that, I would think y'all both would say that made y'all better.
Yeah. Because
now you are saying, okay, we're gonna get a salesman in there, and I think y'all do now have people in there that compete not only in the product but also in the ability to sell the product. And because it was a while, especially at the production facility where you build them. Y'all weren't as much of a sales lot early on. It was more about production because you're kind of back in.
Well, we're still primarily just a manufacturing company. I mean, we have dealerships out there, and we try to take care of them first.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right. So we don't advertise a whole lot.
Yeah.
But Slim was saying about people coming to us and then going back. We've also had the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
We've had people, some of your customers, come over there and say, "Hey, I want a building, and I want one of yours.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Yoders."
Yeah, and I think it's both ways. I mean,
and we try to be careful not to ever, talk down on our competition, because, in my opinion, that shows incompetence and weakness
mm-hmm.
with your product. So,
I would say I agree with that. Probably one of the things my father taught me the most in business was to never ever downgrade your competition. You need to sell you and what you bring to the industry, not what others don't bring to the industry. Because you said the word weakness. I think that's a great word to describe what it is to downgrade your competition. It shows weakness. It shows that I am not prepared to be more innovative and to figure out a way to better my business and better my buildings. So I'm going to attack the good things that they do
mm-hmm.
to try to convince someone that I'm better.
Yeah.
When I should be able to I should have a good enough product, good enough service, and things of that nature to be able to lay this out in front of a customer. And then you let that customer decide, who they choose. Because the truth is, we both, in my opinion, we both do a great building, and we have great service. Both of us have great service. I know there's times that I think we could improve on our end a little bit when it comes to the service side, but it needs to be up to that customer. You need to present what you offer and not attack your competition, because all it's going to do is people read through that so quickly. And we have some competitors around that that probably could find areas in our business to attack, because we're not perfect. But to me, it's kind of interesting, and I enjoy when a customer comes in and says, "Hey, this competitor said you don't do this and don't do this." That right there to me is a done deal. That's a closed sale, because all I'm going to do is I'm not going to attack the individual's back. I'm going to just show them why what they heard is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can show them that the competitors didn't maybe tell the whole truth of your business, that customer is forever yours.
Yeah,
they're not going back.
That's right.
So
I think me making this change into sales management and stuff and dealing with some of the salesmen, have y'all had times where maybe you've had to pull in a salesman into a meeting and be like, "Hey, take it easy," and kind of, because obviously y'all three have the relationship, but probably some of the lower salesmen or something like that doesn't really know you guys as well, and so maybe there's some tension there that y'all have had to kind of combat before with some people below y'all.
Well, we don't really. I mean, we have, we do sell there, so
Yeah.
we have somebody up front that we consider a salesman, but there again, we try to focus on being a manufacturing facility, so because we need our stores, we need our dealers, and we have some pretty close to us, so we don't try to, I don't know if that answers your question, but we don't really have salesmen that we train per se.
Our sales guy is also the dealer support
mm-hmm.
guy. I mean, he is. If there's a customer coming to the shop, it's because they saw us online or somebody told them. There is hardly ever when a customer comes in and says, "Well, I've been to your lot in Muscle Shoals or whatever, and I decided to come here."
Mm-hmm.
Because when a customer calls the office and our sales guy answers he's just going to tell them, hey, oh, you're in Jasper. Go to go. We have a sales lot there. So,
I would say, yeah, for us, we're probably a lot more of a sales center, where we're located and everything. And I would say we compete more with y'all's dealers than we would with their shop. So there's probably been times, and I honestly I couldn't name one. Yeah. So it's not something that happens much. I mean, that we competed with one of their dealers, and I'll be honest, I've never heard a dealer from H&S talk down on Yoders Woodworks. Yeah. I really haven't. So that's also goes into it, having good dealers that understand who y'all are and what your business is about. I think y'all's influence on them, is they're portraying your business, I guess you could say. And so I would say it really hasn't ever been much of a, at each other when it comes to even their dealers that I can recall.
Well, and that was the purpose of that question, is kind of get, how are you guys driving not only y'all's relationship with each other and how y'all are keeping it healthy with competition, but how are y'all driving it down into your organization? Because I can speak from my seat at Yoder Metal, one of the things that kind of, when I was first there, and I think it was in a meeting with Jimmy, and he's sitting there and he's hey, before we start this meeting, let's pray, and he's praying just about the meeting and everything, and then he takes like a special moment inside of that prayer and says, like, Lord, be with our competition, help them grow and help them be successful. And I just always thought, like, in my head when I first started with the company, that's an awesome viewpoint. And obviously that comes from your dad. It comes from you driving it into the organization. And I always like to ask that question because it's easy to look at things from the top of the organization, but if you really want to see how well your business is doing and how deep does it go down into the organization. And so that's why I wanted to ask that question, is just kind of open up some dialogue on that.
Well, one thing that we face quite a bit, so if there's competition that comes into town right across the road from a lot, the dealer, some of them will kind of freak out and say, hey, they're putting storage building right across the road from me. I don't know how I'm going to, sell buildings. And we always just tell them, look, that's probably the best thing that can happen, because just like car sales lots, the more you have saturated in one area, the more it draws people to that area. So, and it always works that way. It doesn't ever slow their sales down. It actually helps draw more people. And I don't know what the other, what the competition does, if they sell to or not. Doesn't matter. It.
I would actually, that was a thought. I'm glad you brought that up, because that was the kind of a thought that I was thinking of. Your instinct is to freak out when competition moves in. It's the natural instinct, because you're like, oh, here we go, But statistically shows that the more competitors you have on a street, your sales will jump dramatically over time, because you've now created. Okay, let's say this. You go to a place in town. You're not going to go to a town, if you need to find shoes, that has one little shoe store. You're not going to. You're going to go to the town that has 10 shoe stores, because I want to find the shoes that fit me, right? So you're going to make sure you even if you got to travel a little further, you're going to travel to that location that has more options, so that I can truly make the best decision for me as and my family on what I'm going to purchase. It's the same way in the storage barn industry. The more you have in an area, the better off you are, because you've just, your competitors are advertising for you. That's truly what's happening. That's right. And you're also advertising for them.
That brings, I almost said this a while ago when you were talking about downgrading somebody because of their, trying to get the sale. Well, what you do when you do that is you basically sell somebody on something that they don't need. So now, not only, you might get the sale, but now you have this customer that has a product that he doesn't like, and probably won't come back to you. It might even give you a bad review. So in the end, you're actually hurting your business and not helping it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good point, because, you know, and that's really that's a life lesson in general, you know, even outside of business. You know, don't look for the negatives in everybody and everything, because there is a lot of positive. Every single human being out there, every single thing out there has a positive note. And if you live a life of looking for the negative, guess what's going to what are you breeding? You're breeding negativity into your life. And, you know, there's people out there that just spend time on reviews, and you go through the things they've reviewed and everything's a 1-star. They've never given anybody a good name. And them are the individuals that just, they complain then about how bad their life is.
You can usually pick them out.
Yeah. So, y'all, the negative people out there can, they can go buy from my competition. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, we'll take all of them.
I love it.
We'll take them, negative, positive, whatever.
I love it.
Have y'all, you know, had moments in y'all's time being competitors where you thought, man, I'm really glad that y'all have a friendship and it's healthy, and what advantage do y'all think that gives y'all over someone else?
Great
we
question.
get to go hunting sometimes.
Yeah, that's a big advantage.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a big advantage. Man, I'll just be honest. I like to be able to hang out with people that understand or get what's going through my mind. I think that's a big advantage.
You know, what comes to my mind is not even so much on what we're trying to sell, but there's been times when, you know, when I'm stressed out, kind of don't know what to do, that I can talk to Clinton and be like, hey man, you know, what do you do in this situation? And he'll give me some good points and to me, that's because I know he does the same thing I do. And so to me, that's a blessing.
And I think that would be the big advantage of that, is, like I said, just understanding because we're facing the same things typically in our business.
That's a big thing for me, is when me and him ever get to go to Top Golf, we'll be talking about stuff that might seem like a secret to other people, and it's like, hey, I need help here. And then he shows me up in golf, hitting golf balls and all this. But
whenever you're ready,
I just go for the fun of it, the food, and
he's about to ruin my love of golf as well. So
yeah, you can't. They can't handle the competition, and we have like a company, what we call golf tournaments, called Yoders Cup, and let's just say that
I think last episode I was 13 shots down. This episode I'm like 34 shots down. I think y'all have built a community together, and where y'all can use each other as, like, not only, you know, I talked last episode about like having healthy pop-off valves, having people that understand what you're going through. And it doesn't mean they have to provide a solution every time, but just somebody that can hear you and say, you know, like, hey, driving home from work, you know, because, I mean, you know, you got to go in, and now you got to be the family man to be able to open that phone up and call each other and say, hey, listen, like, I had this go on today, you know, and just talk about it, I think is a really healthy
we don't do it
healthy
enough.
habit.
We don't do it
Yeah.
enough.
That's right.
Honestly, we don't do it enough, because, I mean, we all get wrapped up in our own worlds, and but it is, I mean, the nice thing about it is I know that at any moment I could pick up the phone, call either one of these guys, and they'd hear me out, no question. They'd hear me out, and I think, I mean, they know that they could do the same to me, and honestly, just having that, you know, there's competitors out there that I couldn't do that to.
Right.
Absolutely could not do that to. And they would wonder, how crazy am I for actually reaching out to them. But to just knowing that's there and available is huge to me.
Yeah.
So
I think one of the things that, and this goes into like helping each other material, like if I'm out of a product, I'm gonna call Yoders.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call Clinton or Randall or somebody, and they'll do the same if they need something. But not only that, if something happened at our company, I know without a doubt these guys would jump in and be there. Say a storm hit.
Mhm.
Say there was a bad accident. These guys would send some of their people over,
Mhm.
and we'd do the same. That's the relationship that I feel like we've built.
Yeah. There's another side of this whole thing too that a lot of people don't really get into, and that's the thing of the people that we have employed under us, our team members and things of that nature. There is a side of where we have at times there's people that work for y'all, they've worked for us, and they're back and forth. And one thing that I love about that is when either party has someone that wants to switch companies, there's most times anyway, I can't think of a time it didn't happen, there's a conversation that gets had between me and them.
Yeah.
And because there's times where we don't have the work, and people need to take care of their families, and they're going to go check with H&S because that's what the industry they know of. And there's never been that I can recall a time where that was an issue. We've that I can recall. I'm not as much into the hiring side of things as I used to be. So, but we don't try to go after each other's people. There's competition that does that. They'll try to go after some, your people. Because in our industry, the people building our buildings are very valuable. They're the ones that do the good quality. They're the ones that, So it's a blessing to have that ability to, even on that side of it. So
yeah,
but
absolutely. And like I said earlier, we're all competitive people. We all like to win. And I know I'm, you can ask Clinton, I'm super competitive. I like to, any competition, I want to kind of win and beat everyone. But sometimes I think we when we view having a healthy relationship with a competitor, we feel like, some people would say, oh, that kind of takes away the competitive edge. And it takes like, oh, you gotta be nice and stuff. How do you guys kind of still keep that competitive edge, but at the same time still, make sure that the relationship is still in good standing?
Oh, we're going to go at each other.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Like, we need to I want everybody to hear that. It's not like we are going to, oh, that's an H&S. They went to H&S. We're going to try to, or one to H&S to do this. We're going to try to sell, and they're going to do the same.
Yeah.
The competitive side's still there. But it's a competitive side. I guess you could say, compare it to football, it would be like, someone that has kind of two teams that they moved from one area to another. They're going to still be a cheerleader for their old team or for the other team at times. They're still going to want to see them succeed. But if my team plays that team, you're going to want to win.
Yeah.
It's the same scenario in this. If somebody shows up here, we're going to try to outsell H&S. There's no doubt about it. And they're going to do the same, I believe.
Right.
And not in a negative way.
We'll build stuff that we don't want to build, because we've built years ago greenhouses, and we'd be like, oh, Yoders, they got greenhouses, but we'll build one.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Because, hey, why not? If we can sell it and make money, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Well, that reminds me the thing I read recently. So back in, I think, the 80s, you only had one when phones still had wires attached to them, you only had one phone company, Bell, and that's the only choice people have. So by having this competitive business, it pushes you to be innovative. I mean, what else makes you get up in the morning and give it 110%? And now today, through some kind of lawsuit to the phone company, we all have these rising carriers now, all these options that we have. So it helps
makes the industry improve.
Right. It gives the customers more options. I mean, it pushes you. We don't want just.
Do you remember the day when we first started? We built there was none of this specialty stuff. We built, a 10 by 16 loft barn with. I mean, there was nothing special. And if the competition didn't continue to get better, now we're building buildings with dormers. We're building buildings with electrical. Yeah, you name it. And if I would, if I was a betting man, I would say that none of that would have ever came if the competition didn't continue to rise. And it's made the industry so much better.
Well, if you look at the old companies, there's an old company around, and they didn't change until competition made them change.
Because they had to.
Yeah, they had to compete. They were building the same thing over and over and over because they could. Competition came in and offered different stuff. Wait a minute, now they have to adapt to it.
So you have an option to be either lead the charge or follow it. I mean, I think both of our businesses have tried to. We haven't always been ahead of the game. I know that. There's been times I'm like, where'd that come from? I wish I'd have thought of that. But I think we all have adapted fairly well to the change of the industry in the sense of all the options that now come with what we do. And not only that, talking about being innovative, think about the equipment that's came into the industry that wasn't before.
Wow.
Things we can do today that never could have been done even probably, 10, for sure 20 years ago, that, just the equipment that now is designed for these buildings. I mean, there's people that have multi-million-dollar companies just for the equipment that goes into this industry. And so I think by everybody continuing to get better, it's grown not just in the actual storage barns themselves, but outside of that, that's everything that's connected to the industry. I mean, you look at the lumber companies. Yeah. There's some lumber companies that have been formed really probably because of the storage barn industry.
Yes.
So it's the storage barn industry. I wish I knew the number. I was going to look that up. How much dollar amount in the United States it brings to the economy. Yeah, it brings to the economy.
Well, I think you talking about, all the other things that it brings in. If you look at college football, pro football, it's not just the people that work the arena or build the stadium. It's the gas stations, the hotels, the tire shop, and that's another thing that. So we do our own mechanic stuff, and now we have to get a service truck, and we do some for Yoder Metal, some welding and
do stuff for our, at times fix a meal for us,
Yeah.
So it's created something totally out of.
When we started doing our own hauling, it was like, no, 2 trucks, whatever. Oh, then we got to stay all night and fix something so the driver can hit the road the next day. Now, that's when that came in. Get our own mechanic.
Yeah.
Get this stuff fixed and back on the road without losing sleep over it.
It's Yoder Metal. Yoder Metal was created directly because of the storage barn industry. We didn't start Yoder Metal to be where it is today. Truthfully, it was never intended that. And
H&S probably made it that way.
You did. Yeah. Realistically, y'all are the foothold of Yoder Metal because y'all started buying when all the other competition said, I will not buy from Yoders Metal because Yoders Woodworks, who builds storage barns, is connected to it. Y'all said, hold up, no, we're going to do it. And now today there's a lot more that buy from us. And one of the reasons I say that is we've never not been always perfect. We have had our issues at Yoder Metal, and thank God that they're improving and things have gotten better. But, you know, the truth behind it all is just because we know the industry, we can provide at Yoder Metal, we can provide what the industry needs because we get it.
Yep.
You go to a place that sells metal that has never had anything to do with the metal industry or storage barn industry. They're going to eventually figure it out probably, but you're going to have issues at the beginning because you don't totally understand what goes into that product. So again, Yoder Metal was a direct feed off of this industry. And so this industry has brought so much to the economy. So
because Yoder Metal has our building styles and sizes. We order 10 by 16 lofted barn kit. Boom. They have the trim, everything. So we don't have to order piece by piece.
And that's and not only that, sometimes our guys, and hopefully the gentleman that we got running it, Lyndon, I'll call you out, do a great job. But, you know, he's built before. He's actually been in the building industry. So he sometimes will catch. I've had it where he's literally caught an order that came in from a barn company, storage barn company, said, hey, hold up a second. I'm not sure if this is right because of. And reach out to them, and sure enough, he saved them money because they had ordered the wrong product to go with that storage barn. So it's really just a big circle. Good, healthy competition and not looking down on your competition just breeds success, I guess you could say, across the industry, in all kinds of forms of industries.
Yoder Metal is another reason that H&S and Yoders Woodworks has the relationship they have. Because if it wasn't for Yoder Metal, years ago we wouldn't have been connected really. I mean, in
friendships, but not as.
So I was, before Yoder Metal delivered the product, I'd come in here after work and load it on the shed trailer, tie it down somehow, haul it back, haul it to the shop, and then wonder, okay, if I have enough pieces, you know. And
early days, it was. I would admit, early days of Yoder Metal, we had this old roll former that you chopped by hand, and man, we actually just recently got rid of that thing. We should have kept it, but it was.
Should have kept the cutter and put it in the office.
In the office or something. Yeah, I look at it like I don't even know how y'all bought from us back then with the quality of stuff we actually put out. But then y'all made us better. I remember a time when y'all were honest with us. Yeah. You asked us, we need to improve this. And by y'all doing that and being willing to speak up just a little bit, I think you shared a little bit with me, Slim, and this has been, years ago. And we went out and got a new roll former. We went out and got a hammer. You remember we used to just ham everything by hand. The break. Yeah.
And it would break off.
It'd break off, yes. And so, you know, it's because of the healthy relationship, it made Yoder Metal better. So
we stuck with y'all at one point because of convenience. And if y'all would have stayed with the old equipment, we'd have ended up.
You'd had to.
We'd have went somewhere else. Yeah. But I was seeing y'all growing and trying to improve to help us. So, and as that went, I was, hey, you can't beat it. And sometimes you stay with somebody, even if the price is, somebody else might beat the price. You got to support your local people. So because later on, man, you're gonna
need them one day. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I hope we're still doing a great job for you guys. I hope we do. I do need to take y'all out to lunch sometime.
I thought you was going to say take us hunting.
Yeah, we got to do that again. We need it. What we need to do one day is we need to go down to South Louisiana and do some red fishing. Y'all,
come on now.
Have y'all been before?
South
South Louisiana,
down the bayou.
Yeah, down the bayou. Yeah.
Right.
We got a good guide service down there. We go to quite a bit. Oh, there you go. You got one there. Dude, that is some fun. Did y'all fish Did y'all go all the way down to the
We
bottom
went
side
to,
of the?
Port Fourchon.
Okay.
But-
Okay, so it's down there pretty far down.
yeah, we can see oil rigs in
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
the coast
yeah.
right there.
We've one place we've been going is a little bit further north, and then fishing like the fresh and saltwater mix, and we've had some real good success. One day we went out there. We went up a little further north, catfishing, and we had 4 boats out there, and we caught. It was 400. I think it was 416 catfish in about a 5-hour window. It was insane.
You said you go red fishing down there?
Yeah, we go red fishing. Yeah, but we go ahead.
We tried what was it? Speckled trout and redfish.
that was-
I caught a 7-foot shark. Wait a minute, it might have been 5 foot, but it was.
So it was.
It looked every bit of 7.
Yeah.
That's great. So he was up in.
Yeah, I brought him all the way to the boat.
No.
It was shallow water, and the only reason he didn't take off was because there was not
Wait.
enough room. He would go from side bank to bank. And
Yeah.
I'd fought him and fought him.
Was it in the
It was in-
salt and fresh
Yeah.
mix?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We need to. We'll get a trip together and go down there.
We
sometime,
went-
So.
We went down with this company and fished. Did a 24-hour
Hmm.
out on the coast, out in the Gulf. Man,
That'll wear you out.
It was so much fun.
Y'all go out to like the oil rigs and
Yes.
tuna and stuff like that, or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yellowfin.
Yeah.
They have a houseboat right on the water you can stay in
Nice,
too. You
yeah.
step off out the back door and hop on the boat and go.
Go for it.
Yeah.
That sounds like
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, hopefully I got sick that trip I went on. I was like, day 1, I was catching them like crazy. Day 2, sick as a dog. So I would love another trip.
Yeah,
but,
we'll get a trip together. We
Um,
will.
Springtime. These guys said springtime is better for speckled trout.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we were thinking about getting a trip together to.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I about enjoy red. I know we're off the topic, but who cares? I about enjoy red fishing more than even
me
going
too.
out.
Oh,
Going
man.
out. You get because once you're out, 40 miles or however far they go out to deep sea fishing, and you
You're
get
out-
done fishing,
You're out there still.
you're out there.
Yeah.
We're done fishing and we still got 5 hours back. And
Yeah.
you go red fishing, you can catch some fish. Well, I mean, you caught a huge shark.
Well, you can fish 5 hours longer in the same amount of time.
That's-
Look at it that way.
That's right. Yeah, and you ain't feeling all that seasick
Yeah.
stuff. But unless,
Now one thing with this boat we went on, it had what? Did it have four or 300 horse?
so you were able to get it.
We were scooting it about twice as fast as one of them boats with a cabin. This was in center console,
That's
45 foot.
just getting it.
Oh, it was fun.
What about the time? And this is for everybody to hear. It's kind of talking about competition. Yes, it was because of Yoder medal and things like that. But went out axis hunting in Texas. Was that 2 years ago? Or last June, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I think it was. That was some fun.
That was amazing.
That was some fun. Do you was Red a guide? It was a
Yeah.
Red.
He was your guide.
No,
He
not
was-
mine. He was
It was somebody.
Linden's.
Maybe it was mine. He was my guide. He was my guide. I shot mine on the first night.
I had to
Yeah.
cook. for
Yeah,
my
you had the
dad.
cook. Yeah, me and you ended up
Yeah, that's right.
guiding together. That was a good time. But Red died of a heart
passed.
attack.
That's what I heard.
Yep, he died of a heart attack. Actually, out there at the ranch is what I heard.
Mm.
So, but man, that was a fun time. We had a good time out
That
there.
was great.
So anyway,
I think wrapping it up, you can obviously see these guys have fun together. Y'all have an amazing relationship that has not just stayed at y'all's level. It's I love hanging out with you two guys. I get most of the time it's because we're eating and usually eating pretty good food. So and I love seeing you come in the office and Will, when you come in, I enjoy that because we just sit there and we talk just like this. But to kind of wrap up just the topic, put a nice little bow on it. If there's somebody out there that's struggling with, a competitor or something, what would be you guys' advice that y'all would give them to kind of start having a healthy relationship? Is it hey, invite them out to lunch, break bread with them, you know, or how would y'all go about starting that relationship with someone?
It's a good question. I mean, you know, the truth of it is you got to have two people that are willing to form a relationship. You're going to meet competition out there that's just not.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to view you as their competition, and that's all they're going to view you ever as. And they're not going to want to have that relationship. But I think we miss a lot of times where we think that you know what they're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You think that they don't want to have a good relationship with you. I would encourage you, be the one to step out and find that out. Be the one to invite them out for lunch and say, hey, let's go eat lunch together. Let's start a relationship. And you'll find out real quick, you know, if they're willing to or not. And I would also say, don't be scared of your competition. You know, use competition as an opportunity for growth. You know, only if you're afraid of them, most times you're going to, you know, the customers are going to feel that. Be more like this. Okay, they bested me here, so how can I next time be prepared to counter that? You know, like I said, don't be afraid. When Will mentioned about a dealer's moving in next door to you, use it as an advantage. You know, maybe you can improve something at your location that you would have not improved if that competitor didn't move in. You know, just use it as an opportunity to be innovative and things of that nature, you know, and don't be afraid to try to form that relationship. That'd be my opinion.
One thing is I've tried to like open up and be straight up with them. Like if you meet somebody that doesn't want to share anything, ask them how it's going. And if they close up, open up a little bit about, you know, how it's going with you. Mm. And I've seen that help a little bit to kind of loosen, get the conversation loosened up. But taking somebody out to eat would be great, man.
Breaking bread that changes a lot most times.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'd agree with you guys, and like you said, there's some people you probably can't reach that way. I mean, some people just view you as competition, and you know, there's not much you can do about that. But making an effort, they'll always remember that, and they might even view you differently, but still from kind of an arm's length. I think as business owners, it's important to remember what kind of country we live in too, and this is, you know, this is capitalism. This is a country of capitalism, so we got to understand that our competition might just be, you know, they're trying to put food on the table too, and if they can outsell you, if they got better prices than you, then that's how we want this country to be.
Amen.
So with that being said, you know, just taking them out to eat, breaking bread with them, I think, you know, whether they take it or leave it, you did your part, and I think they'll remember it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And one day that, you know, you may not have the relationship that we have, but there's not probably as very many competitors out there that do have that relationship. And so just start forming some form of relationship with them. I think that would be my advice, you know, whatever that is, whatever that looks like, to you. I think it's kind of your choice. So, all right, guys, Slim, Will, guys, I thank y'all so much for spending a little bit of time with us. I hope the listeners out there understand that, you know, you can have that relationship, and do what it takes to start forming them relationships. So thank y'all so much for coming on. We're going to jump now into the verse of the week. You know, we like to do that every week just to kind of give a perspective and bring God into every one of our conversations. So today I have a verse here. I should have it pulled up already. Colossians 3:23 and 24, it says, "And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as unto the Lord and not unto men, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Jesus." And I would encourage every listener out there, whatever you're facing today, whatever you're doing, make sure you're doing it as unto the Lord. And you're doing it, it says heartedly. That means giving it your all, doing it with heart. Even we talked about competition, view your business as this is the Lord's business, and ask him for direction. If you have competitors moving next door, ask him for directions. How can I betray Christ in my business? Maybe the competitor needs that, in their life or whatever that is. But whatever you do, whatever you're facing, if you're just a team member in a business, whether you're a business owner, church leader, whatever that is, make sure that you're doing it as unto the Lord and not unto men. That's what it says. It says not unto men. So, we're here for a short period of time on this earth. And if we're out just trying to please men, you're going to never, ever find satisfaction in that. Make sure your business is doing it unto the Lord, and he will give you the satisfaction, whether the competition beats you one day, whether you get a big win, it doesn't matter. But if you're doing it unto the Lord, that's all that matters. So that would be my encouragement for each one of y'all to, just give your heart to whatever you're doing. Give it your all, and make sure that God is the center of it. So, that will kind of wrap up our episode. Again, Will, Slim, thank you so much for
thanks for having us,
spending time with us, and I hope God blesses y'all the rest of the year in your business, and keep running a great business. You provide a lot for your team. There's a lot of people, families y'all feed because of what y'all do and the stress that it takes to run a business. So it's encouraging to see, men willing to do it right and do business right. And I want to thank y'all for doing it the way y'all do it. So, guys, we are so close to 50,000 subscribers. I hope that this episode will get us over the top. So make sure you like, share on YouTube, on Spotify, wherever you're watching this at. Make sure that you're giving us a like, giving us a share, subscribing to the channel and all that good stuff. And also make sure you get into the comments. We've noticed that starting to pick up a little bit, and we thank y'all for that. But let's continue to get in the comment section. We want to engage with y'all. Questions, topics y'all want us to talk about, whatever that is, just make sure that y'all get that in the comments, and we'll do our best to get responded back to you and so forth. You can also get on our Facebook page and send us direct message if you don't really want to see it in the comment section. So God bless you. We hope that you have an amazing rest of your week, and we will see you on episode 3 in a few weeks. God bless. Hey guys, thank you so much for being with us today. We are so excited to continue this season. Make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube and Spotify.
And make sure to leave us a comment. We would love to hear your thoughts. And remember, always lead with a purpose.